Hi. Do you know when a piece of music is ready to perform? I think it's one of the more difficult things for players to really kind of decide whether or not a piece is ready. Because most people believe, if I ask them, so when is a piece of music ready to play? And the most common answer is when I can play it without any mistakes. And maybe I set a higher bar, but um, I find it rare that I don't make some mistake during every piece that I play. And yet it doesn't have any impact on whether or not it's a good performance. Um, if someone were to sit with me while we were listening to, especially my last two CDs, which are all solo guitar, I would be able to point out to you in frightening occurrence in terms of how often it happened, frequency, that how many mistakes are left on the final product of that CD. Um, One of the things that I think that experienced performers learn to do is to not only play through mistakes but don't react to them as mistakes. They're different choices that we made, and if we're good at arranging the way we use our right and left hands, those mistakes aren't necessarily going to sound like mistakes. That's kind of important to the process. Um, so when I'm looking at evaluating whether or not a piece is ready for me, um, to me, knowing a piece of music really, really well is important. And for me, what I've learned is that I really know a piece of music well when I've made nearly every mistake I can think of possibly making and still play through and perform the piece of music. Remember, we have this tendency to act as if we're playing the guitar when actually the guitar is the tool. It's the narrator's voice. It's music that we're playing. So a mistake on the guitar shouldn't necessarily carry over as somehow a mistake in the performance, a mistake in the narrative. We can still tell that story. I hope you don't mind that car going off in the background. Somebody's nudged it apparently. Just makes these videos so much more fun to have stuff like that in there. Ah, they found the key. Beautiful. All right. So we're talking about when is a piece ready to perform. And again, I will contend that when I can confidently play through a piece of music, having made any mistake that is imaginable, that's when I'm ready to take it to the stage. Because what I've learned is when I take a piece of music to the stage, sometime in the first half dozen times that I play it, something that's never ever happened will happen while I'm playing it live on stage. And how I respond and how well I know that piece of music that allows me to skip through that particular puddle without making too much of a mess, that can have a huge influence on how long that piece of music stays in my set list, or does it go back into rehearsal stage, and do I work on it for a few months before I put it back out there. So when you're evaluating your music, make sure that, again, a performance is about playing through our mistakes. I mean, live performance is warts and all, folks. It's always warts and all. So that's how I evaluate a piece of music before I put it out on stage. Hope you've learned from it. Check out my website, buy some music, come to a concert. Love you guys. Cheers.